In today's video, I wanted to take you through how long a high ticket online training, online coaching sales call with a prospect should go for, and really what the structure should look like. And if you are getting this one thing wrong, you're going to be absolutely shooting yourself in the foot, closing less clients than you should, helping less people, having less impact, and getting less income than you should, especially if you're doing a lot of work to get leads and then it's frustrating because you're not closing them. Now, I was speaking to a client of mine just earlier, and it made it very, very top of mind. And he's a very successful person. He's got his own gym, his own facility, very successful in person, and now wanting to transition online. And he asked me the question, how long should a call go for, right? And in his thought, the call shouldn't go for any more than like 10, 15 minutes, because ultimately that's how long they would go for people when he was closing them face-to-face, coming to the gym, memberships, all that sort of stuff. And the online world and high ticket space is a very, very different beast. Phenomenally different. And ultimately, the caveat to it all, like how long a call should go for, is also quite closely tied to what is the price point of your online package, right? So if you are following anything that I talk about time and time again, absolute minimum you should be charging for an online training package right now, what's working right now for the sweet spot time frame is a 12-week coaching package, and the absolute minimum price point that is working right now is $1,200 for a 12-week package. Right now, after 12 weeks, you've got to have strategies and formats to re-sign people long-term, because you don't want to just have them for 12 weeks and then have to get a new client. But $1,200 for 12 weeks is the absolute minimum right now. Now, I've got people charging up to $7,200. I've got people at 5K, 5.5K, 6K. The highest we've probably got is $7,200 for a 12-week package. And the low end, the absolute low end is $1,200. Now, a sweet spot for most niches is around about 2.5K, 3K. Now we've got the lower end, $1,200 up to 7K, right? But that all really depends on what your niche specifically is and what you do for your niche. Now, you shouldn't charge any lower than $1,200. If you don't know why, I'm not going to go on in this video on why, the reasons for it, and how you need to be charging that to actually have enough fuel and profit into your business to allow you to go to another level, earn what you want, have massive impact, and have the freedom and low stress. But in addition, get the right type of clients, great clients who actually value your services and happy to pay the right prices, and have enough time to be able to spend with a client to get them a great result, right? If they're paying you too little, you can only spend little time, and then they're not going to get a great result. It's all about volume. It's all about quantity, not quality, and those businesses don't work. Now, I'm not going to go into specific details on that. If you are wondering how to what to charge for your packages, you can check out other videos. You can search for that. I've gone through that in the detail. Now, in terms of a time frame of a sales call, right, at $1,200 or north of, there's a direct correlation between the price point and the time, right? Now, we're talking about high ticket. High ticket sales are done through, people buy high ticket based on emotion. They do not base it on logic. And they need to be in an emotional state to be able to make a decision to buy emotionally, right? And emotional states can't come from speaking to someone for a couple of minutes, right? Because you can't ask enough questions. You can't dig enough, deeper enough to build up the emotional state on why they want to buy this thing. Now, people buy pens and pencils and paper and, I would say, I was about to say computers, but some computers, the higher end computers like Apple and so on and so forth, they're generally higher priced than what they actually deliver. I'm not saying they're not good computers or whatever, but you can get cheaper computers that are just as good as them, but they don't have the branding to them, right? And people buy Apple because of the emotional side of things. It's a higher ticket purchase, so they buy it because of the emotion tied to having the brand and how they'll feel about themselves and how they feel other people feel about them having it, and so on and so forth, right? The same as the Apple phones, watches, so on and so forth. Samsung is cheaper, generally has a better machine, but people still pay the premium prices because they're buying on emotion. So people pay higher prices when they buy on emotion rather than on logic, right? And if you have too short a call, everything's about logic. It's like, all right, hello, who are you? What do you do? What's the price? What do I get for that price? Let me think about it, right? That is a logic-based discussion and a logic-based decision. Whereas a sales call for high ticket coaching has to be more around asking them questions and almost being like a doctor, right? They come into your digital clinic, they sit down, you ask them questions about themselves. You want to find out deeper levels of what they're looking to do, why they're looking to do that, why it hasn't worked for them so far, what have they tried, what have they done before, what have they failed at, what do they feel they need so they don't fail, right? And digging down into all of that. And really, I had a mentor, one of my first mentors, and he talked about 3 whys deep. And what he would used to do is, and it's like peeling the layers of the onion. Why do you want to lose weight? I want to lose weight because I want to look better. Well, that's the first why. Or why do you want to look better? I want to look better because of X, Y, Z. And why is that important to you? So that's 3 whys deep. Whereas most people stay at, so what's your goal? I want to lose weight. Oh, okay, cool. We can help you do that, right? Getting deeper into it, peeling back the layers of the onion takes time, right? And that's where you get deeper into it on an emotional level. And you find true drivers and motivations for why someone wants to do a certain thing, right? And that is where you get to the emotional driver. And then that is how you can tie a high ticket service to solving that problem and allowing someone to buy in an emotional state or an emotional decision rather than just features, right? Because people will pay higher prices based on emotion. Now, that being said, an average rule of thumb for most high ticket sales calls above about $1,200 up to about $3K would be about 40 minutes. 40 minutes is how long you generally want to spend with someone on a call. Now, when you start to get above 3K, it can go up to about an hour, right? 7K, an hour is pretty solid, pretty good spot, maybe slightly over. But of course, the longer you spend with them and the longer you're able to ask questions and really dig in, the higher you can get them to an emotional state to be able to pay and tie the value that they see in that service and what you're offering. Now, a usual call, that's kind of the time frame. Now, that's a rule of thumb. It can go 10% over, it can go 10% below. Once again, depending on your market, depending on your price point. Now, general structure of a call, about 70 to 80% of that time frame, if you're, for example, doing a 50-minute call, 70 to 80% of that should be all about the prospect. What they're looking to do, why they're looking to do it, the time they're wanting to do it, what have they tried before, all of those sorts of things, right? 70 to 80% of the call about that, and 30 to 20% of the call about what you do and the price, and then handling any simple objections they might have or questions they might have around it before they move forward. So rule of thumb, 45 minutes to about an hour, depending on your price point, depending on your market. 70 to 80% of that about them, what I call the discovery, the diagnosis. Like I talked about the doctor in the clinic, asking the questions. The patient comes in, really learning and understanding the person, and then diagnosing their problem and then providing them a solution, right? 70 to 80% of it in that part. That's the meat of the conversations, all about the prospect. And then 30 to 20% about what you do, the price, and any final question they've got before they move forward. So the majority is about them. The majority is in the discovery section, and the minority is about you and what you do on your price and any questions they might have. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're having calls that are way shorter than that, then it tells you straight away that more than likely you're not selling in a format that is conducive to sales of high ticket emotional buying and getting an emotional tie-in or buy-in from your prospect. So you need to elongate that. And I find most people generally spend too much time in what they do, their pitch and the price, and too little time in about the prospect and finding out. So 70 to 80% is the first part, right? Before it gets to anything of what you do, right? So you know the weighting You know the time frame, and you know the weighting of how that goes. Like I said, they're kind of the two main mistakes people make. That calls too short, or they talk about what they do way more than finding out about the prospect and what they need and what they want. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're making any of those mistakes, flip them up today, and you'll see a massive, massive difference in your ability to close. You'll get a lot less objections. You'll be able to charge higher prices, and ultimately it is going to be good for you, your business, great for your prospects, and you have a way more impact and a less stressful and more streamlined business as well. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've got any questions on any of that whatsoever, you can shoot me an email, chris@tribefit.co, or you can go to our website at www.tribefit.co. Now it's .co, not .com. It's .co, right? If you want to send an email, you can go to the website, you can hit us up on that, and be happy to help in any way, shape, or form. Hopefully this video has helped. If you're making any of those mistakes, fix them today, and you will see a massive difference in what you're doing. Cheers.